The young student clutched his chest, his breath shallow and uneven. Tears streamed down his face as he stumbled through the forest, desperate for answers. "Why does life hurt so much?" he whispered to the trees. "Why can't I escape this pain?" His feet carried him to the hut of Master Haru, the wise Zen teacher who had guided so many before him. Little did he know the master was about to reveal a truth that would change his life forever. Kaito had always been a seeker. From a young age, he had felt a deep longing for something more, something beyond the ordinary struggles of life. When he heard of Master Haru, a Zen teacher known for his profound wisdom, Kaito left his home and traveled to the remote village where the master lived. For months, Kaito studied under the master, learning to meditate, to breathe, and to observe his thoughts. But despite his efforts, he found no peace. Instead, his mind was a storm of worries and regrets. He thought of his failures, his lost loves, and the injustices he had suffered. The more he tried to quiet his mind, the louder the storm became. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Kaito could bear it no longer. He made his way to Master Haru's hut, his heart heavy with despair. Master Haru welcomed Kaito with a gentle smile. "What troubles you, my student?" he asked. Kaito poured out his heart, describing the pain that seemed to follow him everywhere. "Master, I feel like I'm drowning in suffering. No matter what I do, I can't escape it. Please help me." The master listened quietly, his eyes filled with compassion. When Kaito finished speaking, the master stood and retrieved a bow and 2 arrows from the corner of the room. "Come with me," he said. Kaito followed the master to a clearing in the forest, where a tall oak tree stood against the evening sky. The air was cool, and the sound of crickets filled the silence. "Shoot the first arrow at the tree," the master instructed. Kaito hesitated. "But master, I've never used a bow before." "Try," the master said simply. Kaito nocked the first arrow, pulled back the bowstring, and released it. The arrow flew through the air and struck the tree with a satisfying thunk. "Good," said the master. "Now, shoot the second arrow at the same spot." Kaito frowned but obeyed. This time his hands shook and his aim was off. The second arrow missed the tree entirely, landing in the dirt. The master turned to Kaito. "Do you understand what just happened?" Kaito shook his head. "The first arrow," the master explained, "is like the pain life gives us. It is unavoidable. We all experience loss, disappointment, and hardship. This is the nature of existence." Kaito listened intently, his brow furrowed. "The second arrow," the master continued, "is the pain we give ourselves. It comes from our thoughts, our fears, and our resistance to the first arrow. When we dwell on our pain, when we blame ourselves or others, when we wish things were different, we are shooting the second arrow." Kaito's eyes widened as the master's words sank in. "So, you're saying that I'm making my pain worse?" The master nodded. "Yes, the first arrow is the pain of losing a loved one, failing at a task, or being hurt by someone. The second arrow is the anger, guilt, or sadness we feel afterward. The first arrow is inevitable, but the second arrow is optional." Over the following weeks, Kaito practiced the master's teaching. Whenever he felt pain, whether it was physical, emotional, or mental, he tried to observe it without adding to it. It wasn't easy. Old habits of anger and self-pity were hard to break. But slowly, Kaito began to notice a change. One day, while meditating by the river, Kaito felt a sharp pain in his leg. Instead of reacting with frustration, he simply noticed the sensation. "This is the first arrow," he thought. I don't need to shoot the second. Another time, a fellow student criticized him harshly. Kaito felt the sting of the words, but instead of lashing out or dwelling on them, he acknowledged the pain and let it go. As the days turned into months, Kaito found himself feeling lighter, freer. The weight of his suffering began to lift, not because his life had changed, but because he had changed how he responded to it. Life will always bring pain, but we often make it worse by how we react. True peace comes from accepting what we cannot control and letting go of what we can. If this story inspired you, please like this video, leave a comment about what it taught you, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting content and life-changing stories. Together, let's spread positivity.